Imagine you're Max Verstappen's teammate, and the motorsport media is declaring you a disaster. That's the reality Yuki Tsunoda is facing right now as FIA Steward Derek Warwick blasts Red Bull's second seat gamble and warns if the team doesn't act immediately, the fallout could shatter their entire strategy. But here's the twist nobody's talking about. A rookie at Racing Bulls could swoop in and steal the focus. Stick around, because what happens next might rewrite the Red Bull driver hierarchy. Welcome back to Fuel Up Daily, your go-to source for F1's biggest stories. Today, Yuki Tsunoda's season has imploded, Warwick has called him a disaster, and Red Bull are under real pressure. Later, we'll break down the secret challenger ready to step up and what this means for the Constructors' Championship. You are going to know why Red Bull's own junior team boss said he's ready to put the brakes on a promotion. If you're enjoying this deep dive, tap that subscribe button and hit the bell. Fuel Up Daily is just getting started. It all began when Red Bull replaced Sergio Perez at the end of 2024. The second seat had been a problem for years. Ricciardo, Gasly, Albon, Perez, they all struggled to match Verstappen. But Perez still brought home points to help secure 2 Constructors' titles. Red Bull's solution? Promote Liam Lawson from the Racing Bulls squad. But Lawson lasted just 2 races, eliminated last in Q1 twice in China and Australia, prompting another scramble. Tsunoda responded immediately, outperforming Lawson in even scoring points. But that spark dimmed quickly. Q1 exits in 3 of the last 5 races, including Spain, where he qualified dead last and visibly struggled for grip. Now, former FIA Steward Derek Warwick has publicly labeled the situation a disaster, insisting Red Bull made a mistake dropping Perez. He says, quote, "Yuki's quick, but he's had a disaster. It almost shows Perez was doing a better job than we gave him credit for. I think they need to come out now and say, Yuki's in it for the season. I don't care if he crashes every race, he's in for the season. And if you think that's harsh, wait until you hear the next name coming through." Tsunoda's results are costing Red Bull critical Constructors points. While Verstappen racks up wins, 100 points in just 6 races, Tsunoda has only scored 7 across the same number. Christian Horner has admitted Tsunoda faces the hardest job in Formula 1, being Max's teammate, and that if he wants a seat for 2026, he needs to keep improving. Meanwhile, Helmut Marko has described Tsunoda's pace as a serious concern, particularly in high-temp environments and with soft tires, and emphasized the gap widening in qualifying. He's underlining that Red Bull might be writing off the championship if both cars aren't consistently scoring. Loving the inside analysis? Keep it locked and hit that subscribe button. We've still got more insights coming. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because while Tsunoda struggles to stay afloat, another young lion is quietly circling the Red Bull seat. His name? Isack Hadjar. The 20-year-old Frenchman is no longer just a junior driver with potential. He's delivering results right now. Hadjar has been lighting up the grid for Racing Bulls, Red Bull's so-called junior squad, with performances that have stunned the paddock. He's scored points in more than half the races this season, including a jaw-dropping P6 finish in Monaco. Let's be clear, he wasn't gifted that result by chaos. He beat names like Sainz, Russell, Alonso, on merit. It's these kinds of performances that make you sit up and ask, is this the real long-term solution for Red Bull? But here's the twist. Even with Hadjar proving himself, the Racing Bulls leadership is doing everything they can to keep him right where he is. Racing Bulls CEO Peter Bayer has gone as far as saying, "Handcuff him! Don't take this talent away from us too soon." He knows the risk of pushing a driver into the Verstappen firestorm before they're ready. And you know what? He's not wrong. Because Red Bull's senior seat isn't just about being fast. It's about surviving an environment where one of the greatest drivers of all time is your direct benchmark. The Verstappen effect has crushed talents before. Remember Gasly, Albon? Even Ricciardo couldn't maintain his footing for long in Max's shadow. That's why even Nico Rosberg, former world champion, warned Hadjar not to take that step too quickly. On Sky Sports F1, Rosberg bluntly said that if the promotion is offered, Hadjar should flat out decline. That's a huge statement coming from someone who knows what it's like to go up against an all-time great teammate. So, the question is this: does Red Bull gamble again? Do they rush in a rookie and hope it works out differently this time? I am say that would always racing Hadjar. The pressure to make a move is growing. Tsunoda's point tally is dismal, just 7 points from the first 6 races. Compare that to Verstappen's triple-digit haul, and you see the problem. Constructors' points equal prize money, equal development budget, and right now, Red Bull's second seat is costing them. not just in standings, but in strategic flexibility. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko are well aware of the situation, but they're trying to walk a tightrope. Marko has publicly blamed Tsunoda's inconsistency on setup issues, saying things like, "We have a disaster on Friday, we fix it by Saturday." But that's not exactly a confidence-inspiring assessment, is it? Horner, meanwhile, has danced around the topic. Asked point-blank about Tsunoda's future, he dodged the question, saying he doesn't want to speculate yet. In F1 language, that's as good as admitting doubt. And we haven't even touched on the elephant in the garage, Sergio Perez. Before moving forward, answer this, a quick question to prove that. You're an F1 fan. Which F1 circuit has hosted the most Grand Prix races? Tell us in comment section and check your F1 knowledge. Whispers are growing that Perez is exploring talks with other teams for 2026, including Andretti and even Alpine. But there's still a lingering question. Would Red Bull consider bringing him back as a mid-season stabilizer if things continue to spiral? It's not impossible. Perez was never Verstappen's equal, but he did the one thing Red Bull needed. He delivered consistent points, protected Verstappen's strategy, and stayed out of trouble. Ironically, the exact traits Tsunoda is now being criticized for lacking. If Red Bull were to consider a shock move like bringing back Perez, it would be a massive U-turn, but also a signal that they're prioritizing short-term success over long-term development. Let's not forget the broader context here either. Red Bull's technical partnership with Honda is set to end in 2025. That's just one more reason why 2025 must be a strong, focused year. They can't afford drama in the second seat, not when the engine supply, aero regulations, and driver lineup are all shifting. And then there's Max Verstappen. While Verstappen remains publicly loyal, insiders suggest his contract has performance-related exit clauses. If the team stops being competitive, especially with chaos in the driver lineup, he has the power to walk away. And in today's shifting F1 landscape, no one can afford to give Verstappen a reason to reconsider his future. So, let's break down Red Bull's 3 core options right now. Option 1. Stay the course. Back Tsunoda publicly, as Warwick suggested. Give him confidence and lock in the support. There's value in continuity, and maybe, just maybe, Tsunoda will settle into form as the pressure lifts. Option 2. Promote Isack Hadjar. A bold, thrilling move, but high risk. If Hadjar collapses under pressure like Gasly or Albon, Red Bull will have burned another bridge and bruised a rising star before he even hits his prime. Option 3. The hybrid strategy. Bring back Perez, let Hadjar develop. Let Tsunoda recalibrate, either back at Racing Bulls or in another team structure. It's unconventional, but might strike the right balance between performance and planning for 2026. But there's also a wild card that nobody is discussing out loud yet. What if Red Bull doesn't change the drivers, but changes the car strategy to compensate for a weak second driver? They've done it before. Remember 2022, when the RB18 was initially too overweight for both drivers, but once Max adjusted, the whole team evolved around his style. Could we see the RB21 evolve mid-season to become even more Max-centric, essentially writing off the second car? It's risky, but it's Red Bull. At this point, every move Red Bull makes is a chess game. Each decision affects not just 2025, but 2026 and beyond. With new regulations coming, Honda leaving, and Verstappen's loyalty not guaranteed forever, this isn't just about Tsunoda anymore. It's about legacy. About Red Bull's future as a powerhouse. About whether they continue to dominate or start to fall apart piece by piece from the inside out. And here's the part that might surprise you most. Internally, there are whispers that Helmut Marko, yes, the man who discovered Verstappen, has been more conservative behind closed doors than ever before. Sources close to Milton Keynes suggest that Marko's wary of burning Hadjar too early, that he sees shades of Albon in him, and that, in his words, timing is everything. So even as fans and pundits call for a mid-season swap, don't be surprised if Red Bull plays the long game here. They've learned the hard way that talent alone isn't enough to survive Max Verstappen's shadow. You need timing, confidence, structure, and most of all, resilience. As this drama continues to unfold, we'll be tracking it all right here at Fuel Up Daily. If you're still watching, you're clearly as passionate about F1 as we are. So do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and drop your take in the comments. Would you promote Hadjar now, stick with Tsunoda, or bring back Checo? Because one thing's for sure, whatever Red Bull decides next, it's going to shake the entire grid. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, right here on Fuel Up Daily. Keep your seatbelt tight. This ride's just getting started.